Welcome. This is another episode of Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you so much for being live with us today. It's Monday, March the 7th, 8:34 p.m. Thank you so much. You can check us out. My Twitter and my Instagram handle is Pineda_ORL. Dave here with me as well. Before we start, and I want to first and foremost give my most sincere condolences to all the victims of the tragedy that happened in Liga MX game of Querétaro versus Atlas. Senseless act of violence shouldn't be condoned in the sport in any way, shape, or form. I hope the Mexican Federation is able to punish harshly. I know that Querétaro was already suspended from all competitions and I think excluded from Liga MX. I think there should be more repercussions coming in their way. Hopefully they're able to clean up the mess because we have a World Cup coming in 2026 and the safety of all world-class players are in stake. And, I just kind of want to end it with that. Senseless act of violence should not be condoned. And as a communicator, as a podcaster, as a journalist, I definitely stand for peace, and especially in the sport, on the verge of having a World Cup happening in Qatar, on the verge of hosting the United States hosting a World Cup in 2026. We want everything to go well for the sport, so this just grows and grows and grows and becomes the number one sport in the country. So I want to thank everybody that's online, about 10 people live now. Thank you so much. We're live right now on Twitter at LPO_podcast. We're live also on Facebook, Loud and Proud Orlando. We're also live on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification bell. Thank you so much. The ref belongs, where does it belong, Dave?
On OBT, right next to my ex-wife. My friends, Happy Monday, and thank you again for joining us on another episode of La Don Prado Orlando. Can't tell you how much Luis and I appreciate you guys not only getting with us live here on Monday, but during the week. I know some fellas can't make it to the live show, so thank you very much for getting with us during the week and obviously on audio as well. Um, just like Luis said, I also join my thoughts with his. Football's entertainment. I love football, regardless of the result. I always have a good time, and we also have to see the opposing fans as people who, just like us, they love the sport. They want their team to win, and they're just regular folks like you and I that have jobs, have families, love the sport, and there's absolutely no reason why violence should be brought into the stadium. As a matter of fact, many people from outside of the United States that have been to Exploria, have sat next to me, have always complimented the fact that at Exploria you see babies, you see families, you see single women. You don't see any fencing, any barbed wire that prevents fans from mingling. You see fans from different teams sitting right next to each other. Even you see people are married and the husband supports one team and the wife supports the other. So hopefully that will never happen here in the United States. I think it's a deplorable situation, and our thoughts are with those folks. Aside from that, this past weekend, Luis, our boys went to Chicago, and our boys won a game. I don't care what the result says. Our boys won a game, and we're gonna be talking about that today, and the reasons why. Basically, we got robbed again. Aside from that, listen, we're not gonna let you down. Just like Orlando City let down the supporters today when the magnet van never showed up at Lake Eola. I went out of my way, guys, and no magnets. So, Luis, usher us into the
Yeah,
first topic of
sure.
the
Yeah,
night.
sure. We're gonna dive into what happened, right? But before I do, I wanna give this man right here a very warm happy birthday. I think one of the pillars of our defense, Antonio Carlos, was his birthday today. So I want to give parabéns, Antonio Carlos, feliz aniversario,
The
happy
cool
birthday.
cousin we all wish we had.
That's right. One of the best players right now in Orlando City, and it just kind of makes sense of all the training he's done in Brazil. This guy had a good vacation, but also he worked very hard through vacation to get stronger. So kudos to him. Happy birthday. Hopefully he's enjoying himself. But now
Absolutely.
to dive into what happened, right? I want to say something. Look, Chicago yesterday. Um, Aside of Shakiri and aside of Prisvilko and Pineda, my cousin Mauricio, not really my cousin, but I just like to say that. He That's it. That's honestly it. There's really, I just want to say, I know that it sounds kind of arrogant, but that's it. I don't really see Chicago getting far. They're gonna attempt to contend and do so, and that's great, but I don't see him. Yesterday they lacked a lot of ideas. Beautiful crowd, obviously. A legendary team, one of the first 10 teams in the MLS for sure. But Orlando yesterday, yeah, it was not a perfect game, and a lot of people probably say, yeah, it was not a perfect game. There was a lot of people on Facebook saying it was not a perfect game. They were criticizing certain players. We're on game two, guys. We're on game two. This should have been a W. I think Oscar is in he has obviously he said it on press conference. Urso as well, very respectfully. Obviously nobody wants to get fined, right? And I said also, let's not cry over the spoiled milk. They robbed us 2 points, and it's just all I'm going to say is the officiating was subpar. This is a gentleman that has a a resume of bad decisions after bad decisions. He loves yellow cards and loves red cards. He gave 3 red cards in a game for the second division for the B leagues, right? Why would you do that on the B league? I just don't understand. But he did it. He, David has information about also what he did to Kaká a couple of years back. But aside of when it comes to the sport, I think Orlando played well. I think we saw what Cesar Araujo could do. We said it in this show when he first got signed. This is going to be a player that's going to speak volumes to this team. He's going to be that hound dog, that big dog right in the mid. He's not scared of if you're Shaqiri, if you're Ronaldo, if you're Messi. He's going to take the ball away from you. That's the physicality of the Uruguayan league, and I think a lot of the refs here are not used to that. Obviously, because they have not officiated World Cups, they're probably not properly trained. I want to say hello to pro referees, and but yesterday he was one of the cornerstones. Another player that Orlando to me was vital was Antonio Carlos right in the back. He played a phenomenal game. Also, João Moutinho had an acceptable game yesterday as well. And obviously Pedro Galese, right? I mean, consistency at his finest. It doesn't get any better than that. Junior Urso's shot that got obviously knocked in by one of the center backs of Chicago should have been Orlando City goal. We should have walked out there with 3 points, and but Chicago was just so limited of what they can do in the attack because the heart of that attack was Shaqiri, and without Shaqiri, without Pineda he was so busy. Our mid had him so busy. Nobody could get balls to Prizbilko. So it's just we neutralized their key players, and that was great to see, for me at least. It gave me a lot of hope of what's to come, and we just got to keep pushing forward. We didn't lose, but I mean it is a sour note. And again, they pro referees, another bad decision. I don't know how many more bad decisions they're gonna do, and I'm just gonna throw it out there and I give you the mic right now. Pro referees, if they're gonna have this behavior against any club in the MLS, they should not officiate World Cup. They should not officiate NWSL Challenge Cup. They should not officiate the final of USL. They should not officiate that. They're not up to. I mean, they're not up to par, And if we expect for this sport to grow in this country, we need to get either an entity that's going to regulate these people, right, to properly make sure that they're trained by the book FIFA rules, right, and follow them accordingly, or somebody that wants to be an entrepreneur, bring your own brand of referees that are properly trained, and maybe talk to Infantino and maybe see what happens. Because honestly, I don't see no future, and I would hate to have 2 years from now, 2026, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 2026, pro referees are going to officiate the World Cup. That'll be disastrous. They cannot officiate a normal MLS game like this. And this is not the first time they do this to us, by the way. They do this to Orlando City or Orlando Pride. This is constant. It has become a joke. I'll give you the mic, Dave. Go through.
Yeah, thank you, Luis. So while I go over the following information, I would like for you to highlight the comments of Felix Quijano and Daniel Phillips. First of all, I wanna thank the away support that we had in Chicago. You guys are superb on what you do. Very, very well attended. I mean, Chicago in March is not it's not on the top of the list for me on things to do. You guys were there. You guys supported the team, and the guys know. So Felix asked, it's sad how some fans are saying Torres is a bust only after 2 games. I saw that it's coming from people on Facebook, my friends. I encourage you to
I would
stop
like to
listening
see
to
it.
that because it's counterproductive. It's just gonna raise your blood pressure. I already have blood pressure issues. That's why I stay out of it. One thing is to say idiotic things just to throw them out there, like apes throwing feces, and the other one is making compelling arguments, and this is not one of them. The other one, Daniel Phillips. What are your thoughts on the win during the game? It looked pretty intense at times. Maybe it contributed to the missed passes and long balls. Well, I can tell you this. I spoke with our good friend Sergio Ruiz Torres, who is the Spanish language announcer. I spoke with people that were there at the game. They said that the surface was lumpy. Also, that the grass was very high, and the stadium is right on the shores of Lake Michigan, so the wind was excessive. If you go back to the highlights, or if you recorded the game, you can see like plastic bags and things flying all over the place. That definitely affected the performance for both teams. One of the main problems that I have with playing in NFL stadiums is the quality of the pitch. Obviously, we can hammer all day and make fun of people because it's turf. At least turf is consistently flat, even though it takes away from the game. But in this situation, it was real grass, as far as I know. It was not properly taken care of. You got to remember that in American football, it really doesn't matter if the surface is lumpy or soggy or whatever, because the game, it's all in the air. The ball never touches the ground. When it comes to football, our brand of football, it's imperative that the surface is of quality. And again, I know that a lot of people say, "Oh, well, we packed the house." That's great. Well, if you pack the house, let's do so in soccer-specific stadiums. There's nobody's stopping you from building a 70,000 seat soccer-specific stadium. But if we're gonna go back 20 years into the past and take our league back with us to these surfaces, unfortunately, we are not going to go anywhere. Now, I would like to point out, my friends, that both teams went out with a formation of 4-2-3-1. Oscar Pareja continues to use what basically is the standard, the starter pack, if you will, of formations for football. Adrian Heath was super successful for 6 years here with that, and we are getting results, so I don't see why should we change. Our starting lineup was Galese, Moutinho, Schlegel, obviously Schlegel filling in for Robin Jansen, Antonio Carlos, Juan Urso, Cesar Araujo, who received great reviews from a lot of
Oh
talking
yeah.
heads in MLS. A lot of people are already singing praises that this kid may take the newcomer of the year award, how they rebranded the rookie of the year award. Benjamin Michel, Mauricio Pereira, Facundo Torres, and Pato. Now we had three substitutions. We didn't use all five this game. 52nd minute, Akindele for Michel. 72-minute, Cara for Pato. 88-minute, Perea for Torres. And we had two yellow cards in the 90th minute, Cesar Araujo, and in the stoppage time, 90+3, Galese for time wasting. There was a late scratch off, and that was Sylvester Van der Water for medical reasons. I am speculating as a betting man that probably his wife went into labor, and that's the reason why the late scratch off. As far as I know, people that were at the training.
Right.
He was in perfect condition. There shouldn't be a reason why he will be absent. I've been monitoring his social media. He's completely dark. So I hope that is good news and that soon we'll be hearing that he has a brand new son. And that's exciting. As a
Right.
father, I know what it feels like to be a dad for the first time, and it's exciting times for them. There were 21 fouls, my friend, for Chicago, 14 for us. And there was 5 yellow cards for Chicago, 2 for us. I don't understand, Luis, what was happening with the yellow cards. This man basically probably forgot them in the dressing room. There was 9 shots for Chicago, 5 for Orlando. There was a 51.3% possession for Chicago, 48.7% for Orlando.
Right.
On paper, technically, there was no shots on goal. That's a lie. We had a goal on the 74th minute.
Yeah, we had a goal.
Right, that was disallowed. And to be quite honest, we said last week. I said it that this was not a good team, and that we were gonna go to Chicago and smash them, and we did exactly just that. But my friends, and with this, I give the microphone back to Luis. We cannot beat the guy with the cards in the pocket. We can. That guy is undefeated in any league in the world. So unfortunately, that was a bad result. I am proud of the boys. They win. They got the result. I saw the questions that you asked Junior Urso and Oscar Pareja after the fact, and I felt for Junior Urso. He's a complete professional. When he gave you the answers, obviously, like you said, he doesn't want to get fined, but he cannot mask the being upset. And if you, my friends, have watched my latest video on my vlog, The Legendary David, on YouTube, I said that so much effort, so much time, so much money, so much everything goes into a team's season. So when these arbitrary decisions, when the referee is the one basically dictating the outcome of the games, this affects a lot of people, and that's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, his record is just appalling. I mean, I'm gonna stop this picture here of the lineups. I'll go back to that, but I mean, just look at this. I mean, 3-5-22, 7 yellow cards. He was the fourth official with the Tigers Philadelphia, but then he hosted a game. I think it's for El Paso Liberty or something like that. I'm assuming it's
El
that's
Paso
a
Locomotive.
right Paso Locomotive. That's USL, right? That's USL.
Yes, USL Championship.
Yeah. So it's USL Championship. 4 yellow cards. Then last October, another USL game. 5 yellow cards on a 0-0 game. And then here we go. San Jose Earthquakes against Austin, 4 yellow cards. Now look at this one in of September 18 of 2021. 3 red cards on a 1-0 win for San Antonio. 7 yellow cards. Do you understand that? I mean, this is insane. Not even not even the NWSL gets away from it. He gave 2 yellow cards against Gotham. Well, on the Gotham game. So he has a tendency of just relying on, you know, just getting the yellow card. Either he has not read the book, the FIFA book of the rules, or he's just making his own judgment. I mean, you shouldn't give away that many yellow cards. If we want to improve the sport in this country, we shouldn't have a referee that officiates this badly. Then
Absolutely.
the owner of FC Cincinnati, citing the colleague Pat Brennan here on Twitter, on 2018, he puts, referee Ismir Pekmic. Alan Koch was not pleased with how officiated the match. Disparity in fouls conceded was +6 for FC Cincinnati and +1 in yellow cards issued, right? And that to me needs to change. Then we have our own Ricardo Moreira, which I completely agree with him here. Further review, 3 minutes, not clear and obvious, not at all. Hence the name of the title of this show today. Again, we move because that's the only thing we can do, guys.
That's it.
Move. I mean, we were the better team yesterday. Whether Chicago's going to troll, which they already did when I tweeted that, and they're putting baby faces, saying, with purple shirts and all that stuff. It's cute and all, but we were the better team yesterday. I mean, Chicago needs to definitely check on their investments and see. I mean, if a kid like Araujo can neutralize Shaqiri like this.
And Luis, I will say this, my friend. It's all fun and games when the decision goes your way. But then, if you're going to laugh at us, don't expect our sympathies when it goes your way. And that's the problem, my friends. In MLS, if we as a fan base, as fans, we don't unite against the indecency of this league, understanding there's a problem with the officiating, and then profiting by creating a show on Mondays, sponsored by Pringles or Cheez It or whatever salty snack it's out there. They're bad for you. Don't eat them. So that's the problem. That to me is spitting on my cupcake and calling it frosting. You don't do that. So before I go into the information that I have for the VAR, Luis, I would like to read some comments, if you please.
Yeah, sure, sure. Daniel Phillips says Chicago plays an ugly brand of football. Good. I mean, yeah, they did. It was. I mean, aside of the goal, I mean, I was, I was watching it in my car, on my dash, on my phone, and I, I screamed so loud. Like my wife was like, "What are you doing?" Uh, Matthew says, "Yeah, I was confused when he got a yellow." No, that's right. Victor Rivera, that time wasting call was horrible. Watch and count how long the other keeper held the ball and no yellow card. Victor Rivera, those Facebook posts are not even worth reading. It's a bitch fest. They want a miracle to happen on day one. It's just, unfortunately, I mean, it's going to sound snobby, but a lot of it is soccer IQ. I mean, it's just, unfortunately, they're not used to watching the sport for a long time. So, I mean, they don't even know what Peñarol is. So, I mean, it's just crazy, right?
Mhm.
But, I mean, again, we move on. Ahmed Salim, can you imagine a call like that in European leagues, Premier League, etc.? Of course, he'd probably be
Back the
fired.
place down.
He'd probably be gone, and the
Yes,
owners of those clubs will request for this guy to be gone, and he will be
absolutely.
gone in South America as well. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, he will be held accountable. There are entities for refs in each country. I mean, in Peru they have it's called CONARE. It's like it's for
Mhm.
referees, and they overrule, and then they also have FIFA overrule. So
Yeah.
they get double accountability. So I'm just saying, Daniel Phillips, what are your thoughts on the win
Yeah,
during the
we already
game?
went
It
that
looked
one.
pretty,
Over that one.
yeah. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
obviously, right.
So Luis, so a little bit of background for the fans here about VAR. VAR was introduced in 2018 to the rules of the game by the International Football Association Board. This is the committee that reviews basically the constitution of world football, which FIFA oversees, of course. Um, why was VAR created? Was created to minimize interference and maximize benefit. And my sarcastic self will ask, was that necessary yesterday? Did it achieve that? And the main reason why it's a tool is to correct clear and obvious errors. So these are the players in the decision of taking the goal away. Soren Stoica, as we have mentioned before, he was the VAR. He's of Romanian nationality, 46 years old. We happen to be born the same year. On July 5th, this is his claim to fame. On July 5th, 2015, at Salt Lake City, he sent off Kaká for the first time in his career. That was a straight red. My opinion should have been probably a yellow.
I
And
hear
I
you.
remember at the time,
Look how mad he
um,
was. Look how
yeah,
mad he
I
was, man.
remember at the time, he excuse the noise in the background. I remember at the time, the Salt Lake City, the Real Salt Lake organization was super angry at this. They had so many tickets. They actually had to move the game from Rio Tinto to I believe the University of Utah's stadium because everybody wanted to see Kaká. And what does this clown do? He sends the superstars in the first half after Kaká had scored. And if for those that don't remember, then obviously RSL capitalized, score, tie the game 1-1. But people were furious at MLS. This is a Ballon d'Or, a world champion, and you send him up for the first time in his career in MLS. Very Mickey Mouse. Then the assistant VAR was Claudio Badea. His claim to fame, he has been AR in the league for a very long time. Last year he had 23 games. And the referee was Ismir Petmic, who's an American, by the way. Claudio is also an American. This was his first game in MLS for 2022, and as Luis has pointed out, the man has been very inconsistent. Now, one of the things that I learned, because I don't claim that I know everything, and doing my research, I learned something new. So let's put our thinking caps here. When situation happens on the field, the VAR goes to the referee. This is the process that is done in every country in the world. The VAR suggests to the referee that something needs to be reviewed. That referee has the authority to wave that off and say, no, it's okay. I'm satisfied with what I saw on the pitch. Or he can make the sign of the TV and go to perform what is called a OFR, on-field review, which is basically what we all see in the stadium and at home.
Right.
Um, the uh, the screen that you see there is supposed to provide different angles of the situation. Now, I was telling Luis before we started recording that that is subjective because the cameras that cover the field are installed by the hosting team. And it depends how much they want to spend, how much they want to, which angles they want to choose. Sometimes cameras can be blocked by fans, flags, can be hit by balls and tipped over, and they are deemed useless. One of the things that I found out is that there's several different companies that sell VAR systems, and each league determines which company to go with based on price, quality, offers, just like anything else. I was under the impression that VAR was the same across the board, and that's not the case. Unfortunately, we don't know which company is MLS using. Probably not a good one because they're cheap. And last, this I found incredibly surprising, Luis. Studies show that factual decisions like offside or mistaken identity are more successful than subjective situations such as penalties or goals. That means that in the decisions of awarding penalties or disallowing goals, the problem is that we continue to have human error in the mix because unfortunately the person making the decisions are human. That is imperfect. And last, rugby and cricket make the audio available to the audience to be able to listen to live. FIFA has been asked several times to do the same, and they are citing technology and money and a bunch of different excuses to not do that, which, in my opinion, is a lack of transparency. Now, what FIFA considers a successful OFR or on the field review, 80 seconds. 80 seconds what they consider a successful, sufficient amount of time to review any play. Unfortunately, I believe we went to the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, 3 minutes. It was ridiculous. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, so basically that's the situation there with this. Like I said, I was upset. It to me is telling with when fans of opposing teams, including some Chicago fans, that basically say, "Hey, you guys got robbed." To me, like I was telling you, the transparency needs to be there. Fans all in the world over tend to accept corruption, nepotism, and all the isms in the world because they live them in school, in their religious congregations, in their families, at jobs, in local or national governments. You know, we're used to seeing people that get their jobs because of who they know, get their jobs because, you know, my dad is so and so, get their jobs because they contributed too much money. We are used to seeing corruption all over the place. But when it comes to the sport, we tend to demand transparency and fairness because we are the economical engine of these leagues. Me, Luis, everybody that is watching, everybody that is listening, contribute to the league. MLS without the fans is nothing. There's no money to be made, nobody to watch, no reason to exist. So why are we going to create environments in which we are going to anger the user, anger the people who this product is sold to by allowing this this situation to continue. And with this, I conclude. I send you, Luis. I don't know if you have it. I send you it was a screenshot of a tweet from a listener that was describing that the rule that was applied to this decision has been changed by FIFA, and how we been implementing the 22 rules in this season. Again, the same situation with Pedro Gales a few years back when he was sent off, and FIFA had already reviewed the rule. That goal would have stood. So, to me, we're always one step behind in all these situations. It just happens that Orlando City is
Right.
always in the bad spot, but that's basically my little rabbit hole when it comes to VAR.
Right, and when it talk and to quote Austin David here, right? He was writing about what Pekmic said about the VAR decision. Our good friend Austin David. I want to say hello to him. Uh, Orlando number 9 deliberately handled the ball using his arm in the attacking phase of play that led to the scoring of the Orlando goal. So, I mean, I play soccer, right? I'm not Messi. I'm not Ronaldo, right? Certainly, I'm not. Obviously, clearly, I'm not. I'm not even. I'm not even like the sub of the sub. But I know that when you have two defenders, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this picture here now. When you have, let's say, two defenders, right? Because this is an after the fact picture, right? No one raised their hand, right? No one raised their hand. Shakir was looking down, but before that, you had a line of 4 people, and Kara was facing to the left side of him. And when you have
Facing
to,
the AR, by the way.
right, facing the AR, that's right. So when the ball comes down, automatically a player goes like this, automatically, because you have to make sure with this arm, the players right here, right, you're cutting their vision, and then with this arm, in case somebody else is coming, I mean, you're gonna just go like this. You're gonna, especially with the chest, you go like this. So, I mean, I just don't understand how come this is something so basic, right? And it was disallowed. I mean,
And
it was
Luis,
just so.
if you look at the fans that are behind the goal, and again, I apologize for the noise in the background. You see that nobody's doing this. Nobody's going for the hand. And last, I would like to point out that some people have said, "Hey, I saw some people raising their hands," but they were trying to signal to the AR, "Hey, he's offside."
Right, because you always do that because you're trying to trick the other player. I mean, it's just 101. And what I'm trying to say is this: if the league is trying to get serious, if the league is trying to get serious, we're going to be hosting a World Cup. It is a big deal. This is a game changer for the United States and Canada when it comes to the sport. We need to take this serious, and these mistakes cannot occur. I understand it's an MLS game, it's just a regular MLS game, but mistakes like this cannot occur. I understand that we're human, people make mistakes and all of that. But this has just happened to Orlando City season after season, not once in a season, not twice, sometimes 3 times in a season. And it's just not good because it tarnishes a good game that Orlando City had, which we're gonna
Absolutely.
actually talk about. Talk about this now. Just kind of focus more on the football aspect, on the soccer aspect. I mean, and then I'll give you the mic. Personally, as I already said, right? To me, you have, the pressing of Orlando City in the mid. Orlando City, they just applied a high press that you should have with players of the caliber of Cesar Araujo, Junior Urso, Sebastian Mendes. You're supposed to have that high press. Something that's so good to see now even though a lot of people are saying that we should change our midfielders. I don't know what kind of midfielders we're supposed to have, but I mean, I think the only problem I have is that we generated a lot of turnovers to a limited team like Chicago because they were falling on the high press, but we did not were able to find ways to create a scoring chance going forward. That to me, I think we need to improve on that. It's just a little thing that I viewed. Facundo is still having a hard time to get himself. He gets himself open, but no one passes the ball. It's just a matter of just chemistry. I think that needs to come game after game after game. It's getting better for sure, especially with Ruan, with Pereira. It's getting much better. But I think once we get that on the lockdown, I mean, we're going to have a lot of firing power. We're going to have a lot of firing power. Great game by Rodrigo Schlegel, in my opinion. I think Rodrigo Schlegel stepped in and he started with a lot of confidence. And obviously, it was Gales's game as well. So Chicago was playing very physical. I think when it comes looking at the other side, obviously Sheridan Shaqiri was the best player to me in that mid, even though it was properly contained by Cesar Araujo. Soft score only gave him a 6.7 because he had a yellow card. He should have been at least a 7.5 in my opinion. And then the other two that I would say they had a good game was Mauricio Pineda and Omsberg, right? I will say those three were to me the best. It was not Prishbilko's night. They have a lot of issues also generating attacking plays, and they're a very vulnerable team if the two center backs are not on point. And I think today both of their center backs were able to neutralize Pato. Were able to. I mean, they took notes and from the Orlando's last game, and those open opportunities that he had in the first game were not available. It's just were not available. But there was a lot of physicality, and well, to me, the goal of Urso should have standed again. And I give praises also to Pedro Galese, right? And I'm gonna show this picture now. He tied Joe Bendick's record, 13 clean sheets, in Orlando City history, right? There's a big accomplishment in me Peruvian news and all of that good stuff. Communications also put a nice tweet and everything. I think Orlando, even though a lot of people are not convinced with the performance, it's getting there. Connections are happening. I love the fact that Moutinho's performance yesterday. Yesterday was superb. Well, Saturday was superb. Ruan Antonio Carlos overperforming, in my opinion. And when it comes to Torres, he switches sides. I think we need to have more partnerships for him. Him and Araujo link up because they're both Uruguayan. They kind of know each other. I think the three Uruguayans are linking up a lot. Once he gets a link up like he did with Ruan on the last game, and he gets more accustomed to the way Oscar wants things done, I think he will succeed in this league and he will score a lot of goals. But he's trying to generate attacking plays, and I can definitely understand that, and it's just going to get better and better. What are your thoughts on this game on the soccer side, Dave?
No, absolutely. I think it was a well executed game. Um, before I make my comment of my review of the game, there's two listeners that have said two things that are critical on what I'm about to say. One is our friend Jim D. When it comes to is that it? Yes. Okay. So VAR evidence has to be clear, or has to be clear on the ruling on the field should stand, especially when the center ref has such a good view of the play, which is absurd, and I agree. And then He actually had a comment before that about the how the yellow cards that it took too long, if I'm not mistaken, Luis, because I don't think I can go back on my end. Um,
It's right there. It's on the screen.
okay, great. So, yes, absolutely. And basically, both of our matches, the ref held off too long on giving yellows. The game starts to spiral out of control, which I agree at 100%. And then everyone ends up getting yellows and some send offs. Poor game management. And our friend Ahmed Salim uh, says that I think the live audio during the VAR would be the way to go. It will provide transparency. And the reason why I wanted to read those comments is because if you look at how this referee allowed game to happen, Fabian Herbers had an awful foul on Facundo Torres. A foul that could have ended his season, my friends. I would like for you to guys to go back. Not only he basically knocked Facundo off his feet at full speed. Facundo hit his face on the ground, and I thought that was an awful foul, in my opinion, excessive. Uh, it was against the safety of the player. In my opinion, I would have sent them off, but this man allowed Chicago to manhandle our players, and I don't think that was wise. One of the things, if I am an owner and I see this rough housing like this, I will go to the league and I say, hey, I just spent $10 million on this guy. Why is this ref allowing my investment to be handled like that? You know, and to be honest with you, Orlando City kept cool heads. That's to me the biggest thing that we should be taking away in 2022, Luis. We are not seeing our players get stupid fouls, stupid yellow cards, um, by running their mouth or retaliating. You
That's
guys
right.
remember that the game against New York City, we went, Juan got such an incredible bad red card for retaliating, because that's exactly what New York City wanted, because they couldn't beat us any other way. So we are keeping cool heads even on conditions that are not as good as we would like. I think that, like I said before, the pitch was unfortunately a detriment to our game style. We still seeing how Facundo Torres is getting that partnership with Juan. Like you said, Facundo and Cesar know each other. Obviously, they are going to be teammates in the national team coming up soon here in March. So there's going to be a call up. There's going to be two games, I believe, and you correct me. I think one is Brazil and the other one is Ecuador, if I'm not mistaken. For
For Uruguay?
Uruguay, yeah.
No. Uruguay
Chile,
they
no,
play
it's
Peru. No, they play
Peru and Chile,
Peru
right?
in they play Peru, which is I think final.
Uh huh.
Because they're gonna face Gales is gonna face Araujo and Torres. I mean, I don't know if there'll be starters,
Right.
but obviously because the depth of the Uruguayan team is like a lot of good players.
And that's the 24th, if I'm not
So
mistaken, right?
right, and then after that, so they play at home against Peru. Right, Peru is gonna play away, and they're gonna travel to Montevideo, and then they play Chile in Santiago.
Okay, so there we go, guys. So we're gonna be missing some key pieces in March. We're gonna have to make do without them. But these guys are playing a lot together. They are definitely linking up in a very good way. Mauricio showing maturity and the type of skill that we would like on a number 10, and also as our captain. The thing of concern, Luis, is we do not know who's gonna be his heir apparent. Who's our number 10, either in the bench or within our starters. I honestly just don't see a substitute for Mauricio. God forbid he gets hurt. Pato, in my opinion, had a decent game, but again, he's in a position in the 4-3-2-1 where he needs service. He's basically playing as a target, and unfortunately, um, he, like I said, the passes were not coming to him due to the wind. If we were trying to go with the long pass, and also the surface again was really bad. Benjamin Shaw, in my opinion, had a decent game. We have said before, Benji most likely is a placeholder for Gaston Gonzalez when he gets here. But by the way, Gaston Gonzalez had another superb game this past weekend. And Joao Moutinho continues to, to prove me wrong that he deserves to
Right.
be that starting left back. Rodrigo Schlegel did very well, in my opinion. Uh, Obviously, the partnership, it was sort of weird because in the offseason, in the preseason, it was Rodrigo and Jansen that primarily were in that tandem. And we know Antonio basically had zero preseason, but Rodrigo held his own, and Antonio Carlos, a player that so underrated. If Antonio Carlos doesn't make the MLS All Star this year, I'll be completely surprised and disappointed,
Yeah.
because this is a guy that puts in a shift, and not only that, that is so consistent, so technically savvy, and who understands that his job is to allow his goalkeeper to do as little as possible. And I think that the familiarity of our back line, I mean, these guys know each other, they understand each other. They seem to get along very well on and off the pitch, and it's translated very well. So, in my opinion, we had a great game. Chicago looked like a team that is just getting to know each other. They have massive changes, and we wish them well. I'm not gonna crap all over them. I just think that their pitch is gonna be a detriment to this team. 17 home games like that, I just don't see it. So we already played our one game this season. It's water under the bridge, and now we can be looking forward to FC Cincinnati.
When it comes to what you were saying about Mauricio Pereira, yeah, I mean, he's playing, I think, great. And I think because he's so free playing his actual position, he's excelling, right? He's the only thing I say about Facundo Torres, which has come up in the chat also, is you know, it's just to me, it's just he needs to find, they need to find them partners to work with. And I think Ruan is one of them on that right wing. I think he needs to stay on the right wing. Um, it, the score you see here is just something the sofa score does. Personally, I think he should have been higher than this, at least 7.4, 7.3. Um, and I think Cesar Araujo should have been higher also. It's just one thing I did notice is Benji, right? Benji Michel only had like a 16% passing rate according to the stats that I'm looking at right now. And I mean, it's just a matter of, a lot of people are saying, the wings don't have depth. And like you said, Gaston Gonzalez is coming mid-year, and but we're gonna have a lot of people leaving, right? We're gonna have a lot of people leaving. So what do we do, right? Personally, I think Pato could play. Pereira could play one of the wings. Believe it or not, he can. His preferred position is there, but I mean, I personally wouldn't put Pato as a right back. Sorry, as a right wing, because of the back and forth you have, and obviously he's a center forward, but he can also play the 10, right? So you will have to change your 4-2-3-1 to something that Pato may be able to play behind a forward like Erjan Kara. What I love about Erjan Kara is that the goal happened as soon as he came into the game, and a player like that is just going to get better and better. Obviously, he's coming of a little knock. I think Oscar is sticking with what's working right now, but eventually, like he said before, he could play with both, right? He could play with both, and then Pata could play as a 10 also, you know. But we need to see a little bit more link ups from the mid to the wingers. To me, I think if we get that jot down, just like we've gotten jot down the defense, because our defense is probably the best in the East right now, in my opinion. is the best in the East. I mean, from the keeper, from the two center backs, and also Rodrigo that excelled in this last game. Usually, a lot of people think, "Oh, Rodrigo's going to come in," and I don't know what kind of performance he's going to have. But yesterday, the last game he delivered. He delivered wholeheartedly, and then Joao Moutinho too, playing a great game. So I think the backline is fine, but we need to find link ups from the mid onto the wings because that's the game where Facundo Torres excels at, and we've seen Benji excel. We just need more consistency, right? Which is going to get there. It could have been the pitch, like you said, but we shouldn't really. I think we need to get better than that because we're going to play in so many pitches and we're going to play against Galaxy, we're going to play against Austin, so we have to adapt, right? We need to adapt. So I think we're on the right track. We're on the right track, and again, we should have definitely won that game, right? uh, Dave.
Yeah, let's go to the comments because there's some very good ones, and you guys reminded me of an incident that was not reviewed by VAR. The elbow to the head of Cesar Araujo. That, my friends, was a red. That was not reviewed. Was on the pitch. Was given a
Oh, that's right.
yellow.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I saw that review, and if the goal was the goal that was scored was disallowed. If that was not a known goal, this was a red. But my friends, we have selective choosing here. We got our friend Skeeter Jeep there. Second, I am more confused now than 2 games ago. Who actually is going to produce goals, but to look lost and unreachable. Caraslow and Tesho. Well, is Tesho. Well, in this case, I have to say Tesho came in as a contention player, basically hold up play. In my opinion, Tesho had a very good game for the amount of minutes that he had. He was not really there to score goals, and that's a misconception that a lot of our fans have of Tesho, which is this is a question that has been asked to Oscar Pareja constantly, because they see Tesho as a guy that needs to score goals, but there's several occasions in which our real number 9, I'm making air quotes, it's on the pitch, and Tesho comes in to assist in the attack, but not necessarily to be the target man. So let's keep that on the forefront.
I think to add that into that
Yes, man.
comment, I think when he says Pata looked lost and unreachable, it's because he had two towers in front of him, Sinchas and Almsberg. They had a good
How tall
game.
are those guys?
They neutralized them. I mean, and you gotta understand it's the second game playing, almost the full minutes, right? And and before that, he's been silent for how long? Right.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
we gotta right. So you gotta understand. I mean, these players have also done their preseason and they're excelling. I mean, you see them in green right here, right? So they've got a high rating because they actually found a way to neutralize. They were some of the best players on that pitch for Chicago, and Pato is right there. And like I said, there's no link up between. There was no link up. I mean, 16% accuracy for Benji on the left wing. That's really no creation on the left wing, in my opinion. And then Facundo, you have going from right to left, trying to find the open space, trying to play, and then they're already the core group is functioning based on previous seasons, so
Mm-hmm.
they're like functioning on previous seasons, and so he needs to get used to that same rhythm, right?
I
Which
agree.
he will get there. It's just, I mean, it's game two, and we can expect. In my opinion, I mean, I've never seen. I mean, even Neymar when he came to Barcelona, I mean, in game two he didn't do really much, right? Eventually, and I know I'm trying to compare Neymar to Facundo Torres. What I'm trying to say is, I understand how much it was paid for this player. I understand how much excitement he's bringing to the franchise, he's bringing to the team, he's bringing to the city. We just gotta make sure it's game two. I think the team performed, in my opinion, well, despite the lack of creation from mid to wings. to me, that's the observation I make, and I think they're just gonna get better. Dave.
Absolutely. And there's a question here, Luis, from our friend Antonio Rodriguez that I would love to answer. All right, Antonio, you asked. This is this random, but do you guys think about the possibility of getting Rafa Ramos again at right back? First of all, Rafa Ramos, I love him as a player, as a human being, incredible person. It's not a far fetched idea. Rafa Ramos has a green card. That means that they are good for 10 years. That means that he will be considered a native player. The reality is Rafa Ramos is very happy in Portugal. He's playing for a team out of the Azores. Um, and I just don't think we can afford him. Unfortunately, the his salary will command quite up there. And to be honest with you, I think his chapter with us has ended. Uh, he has moved on with his life. He has nothing but good things to say about Orlando. You can see it on his social media. He treasures his time here. But it. I think his time with us ended in a very bad note. He was always hurt. Something that has not happened since. Surprise, surprise. But I think at right back we have definitely good players that can fill that role. And as we move forward, we're gonna be playing a different style of play too. I think Rafa Ramos was a very inchy type player. If he ever returns to MLS, I just don't think it's gonna be Orlando. Most likely Minnesota, to be honest with you. But Luis, the clock is ticking, and I guess it's time to talk about our next opponent.
Yeah, sure. We have Cincinnati, right? We have Cincinnati
Absolutely.
versus Orlando City. What to expect. Let's. I mean, personally, we need to. I mean, we're playing at home, right? We need to definitely
We're
win.
sure
I
are
mean,
7:30 this Saturday.
exactly. We're playing this Saturday, and we gotta win. I mean, who would you put, right? I mean, personally, I have the lineup here. We can create the lineup now.
Same
Uh,
lineup, in my opinion,
it's
same lineup as Chicago with Robin Jansen joining.
yeah, 4-2. Hold on, is it 4-3-2-1, right?
Yeah,
Sorry,
four two
yeah,
three
it's
one.
four
Yes,
4-2-3-1. Yeah, 4-2,
yes, sir.
4-2-3, 4-2-3-1. Right. I would like to see Kara start. I know. I think I would like to see Kara start, in my opinion. I mean, this is just something I would like, but I mean, if you disagree,
No, no, no.
if
I mean,
um,
let's be honest here. Carroll was brought in to score goals. He's the classic number nine.
right.
His words.
I would like to see him. I would like to see him start, and see what we can do.
Exactly.
Um,
Kick the tires a little bit.
especially playing against Cincinnati, which they're not doing so well. And then obviously Galese, right on top.
Of
Now when
course.
it comes to that yellow card about time wasting, he's trying to get better at that. I mean, that has happened to him in the national team as well. There's nothing against Galese, but I mean, he's gotten on the national team a bunch of times. Um, Obviously the core, Ruan. I mean, and we need to have also, depending on the opponent, I think we should give them a little bit of a rest too, right? Because we want that consistency, full blown, and we also want some of our bench players to get minutes, right? So in my opinion, if we are 2-0, and I think Oscar would probably feel the same. If we're 2 or 3-0 in the first half, change some of the change
Yeah, I
Ruan,
agree.
change one of the center backs, change maybe Mauricio. I think
Hmm.
that's what we need to do because um, obviously injuries have always plagued us, especially on the way to the playoffs. So,
Yes.
um,
And what's coming is
but
gonna be on the road too. So
and it's a World Cup year, so
yeah.
we gotta make sure we have a lot of players that are gonna probably gonna play that World Cup. Sebastian Mendez, Galese, Torres, Araujo. Those are four right there. So, and then we have Jensen right there. He's gonna be back
Hmm.
for sure. Uh, Here, I would like to see Moutinho again. I think it's working. I think He elevated his game the past
He's
two
hot.
games. He's hot. Let's leave him hot. Same with I mean, Cesar has a yellow, right? How many yellows did he have already?
Two.
Two?
I'll see
Right. I
him on
mean,
this one and put Sebas Mendes.
yeah, I would put Mendes here. Yeah, that's right. And here let's just do Junior Urso, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Mauricio right here as a 10 because he's been excelling. Shoot this thing. Pereira for sure. Right here. That this is the thing we need to really. I mean, Benji, right?
Hmm.
I think we're playing at home. I think he's played his best games at home. It's game two. I think he's an outstanding player. I think he needs to be supported by the fans. He loves this city. He loves Orlando. He loves the
Hmm.
fans. And I think he's gonna. I'm probably gonna. I'm predicting it right now. I think it's gonna be a good game. So I'm gonna give him one more time, one more chance for sure. I mean, Benji. Let's go with Benji here, and here obviously Facundo Torres, right?
Absolutely.
Facundo Torres. But again, you know, we have options up top too. I mean, what other
Yeah,
options do we
and in
have?
this game, I will give 45 minutes to Facundo and yank him because I'm telling you guys right now, FC Cincinnati. Uh, Geez, where can we start with this? And I'm sorry, Luis, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just
No,
realized
go
I
ahead,
did.
man.
Last three games against these folks, where 1-0 in favor of Orlando, 1-1 tie, 3-0 in favor of Orlando. Um, I mean, the reality here, my friends, is that our series with them: three victories for Orlando, two draws, zero wins for FCC Cincinnati. That's going to remain this Saturday. Um, I feel bad for them, the fan base, knowing what we have gone through, knowing that they had a glorious passing in USL, but this is a game where we can't be feeling sorry for what's going on in Cincinnati. We gotta smash them. Really, really, really gotta smash them good. I think it's a game where we are going to. I would like to see a lot of these guys with limited minutes because what's coming is Galaxy on the road, uh, Portland on the road. Those are gonna be really, really, really tough matches. If you've seen uh, Jimmy Chara with the Chilenas with the bicycle kick 2 games in a row. That game is gonna be a bomb waiting to explode. So what I would like to see this Saturday is it's just basically a team that is going to destroy teams like this. Bad teams. You gotta destroy them. You gotta win at home. I don't care how many goals we score on them. I just want to win. And a defeat against FC Cincinnati will be something disastrous, a humiliation. I don't think that's going to happen. A tie at home against FC Cincinnati, then we need to start asking questions. I don't think that's going to happen either. So that's to me, that's what's going to happen this Saturday. I don't think, Luis, that we need to try to reinvent the wheel here. FC Cincinnati has been awful. I believe they had a man advantage and they squandered it on the last 2 games. They're just a bad team. And I don't understand how this team continues to be this bad. They get rid of front office members, they get rid of the manager, they get rid of half the team, and they're still just as bad as the year before.
Yeah, I mean they're going through a whole. I mean their team is just not working out. I mean I think DC United also had a terrible game. I mean they only won 1-0 against them. Personally, like you said, right? I mean let's take this game by game, right? And I think even though Jim D says 3-5-2 with Pato and Kara up top, I honestly want to prevent injuries because if you do a 3-5-2, you're going to need a third one here, and Ruan and Moutinho will do the wings, right? kind of like playing like the Chelsea style with
Hmm.
three backs and two wingers on the side. We've tried that before, and all it has cost is for room, for unfortunately the back and forthness. I mean, we could definitely try it against FC Cincinnati for sure. I feel comfortable doing it. It's just that I don't see them excelling on it. I think we're finding partnerships and we're seeing that Moutinho is working fine right now in this system. This system is actually working, fine for this team. Ruan and Facundo Torres are linking up. They linked up on the last two games. They had some sort of surprising plays on the right wing. I think we need to keep that up. But I think we need to see Kara. I think I would like to see Pato as a change of pace player coming in the minute 60, minute 45, and it's also good for him, in my opinion. It's also good for him. And if, like I said, if we're already like up 2-0 first half or 3-0 first half, I
Yeah,
mean,
make
we need
wholesale
to
changes.
right. We need to make some changes because, I mean, like you said, we're going to play against some of the West teams. But I mean, you were mentioning Portland. I think Portland has a team that we can definitely, I mean, definitely play. The Portland
Oh
we
no,
play against
absolutely.
in the now, I mean, the Portland we play in the MLS is back. In my opinion, was a better team than this one. Even though they have the Chara brothers, but I mean, it's just um, I think we have the back line to contain. I mean, we've contained a world class player like Shaqiri. They've
Hmm.
contained so many good players. I think we're going to be okay. And that in that game, we're definitely going to need Araujo, right? For sure.
Absolutely.
But concentrating on this, I think this should be. I think this is a good lineup to face FC
No,
Cincinnati, right?
absolutely. And listen, also, like we have speculated before, it looks like probably the boys, once they head out to LA, they're gonna stay in the West Coast for the week before going to Portland. So it's gonna be a long season on the road, if you will. Also, we're gonna be playing in some very hard places to play. Portland, aside from the fact that it's has a huge fan base behind them, also has one of the smallest pitches in MLS. So it's going to be a very cagey match. LA Galaxy definitely is not going to do us any favors. I think they're a one trick pony, in my opinion. Charlotte neutralized them very well, only losing on a golazo, one of those that you just basically stand and clap because that's all you can do. So if a team that has defensive deficiencies, really bad ones, manage to do that, I think we can. I will be satisfied with a 4 point trip on the road. But to go back to this Saturday, listen, we're already talking about the next two games. You know why? Because FC Cincinnati is not a challenge, my friends. That's what it boils down to.
I mean,
And it's
we can like just say that they're. I mean, I understand. I understand they're. I mean, they've been pretty bad, but I mean, we don't want to sound like already
oh
we got
yeah,
the
of course,
W,
Luis. But I'm
right?
sorry, my friends. There's only three teams I'm gonna disrespect in this manner this year, and one is Miami, one is
Oh,
Charlotte, and
that
one
was
is this,
horrible.
and one is listen. Let's say that the Miami talks over when we play them, and
No,
the other
that
one is
was
Charlotte. I
bad,
mean,
man.
there's three teams that we know are gonna be fighting for that wooden spoon, and those are the guys. They happen to be in our conference, thank God, and so that means that better chances of us making playoffs. But I just don't see, my friends. I just don't see FC Cincinnati scoring against us or giving us any problems with the quality that we have. If we play like we did last Saturday at home, we are definitely gonna walk away with 3 points. Now, I encourage everybody to go to the game. It's the only home game in the month of March, so I encourage everybody to come to the game because we are not gonna see the boys at home until April 12th, and also the game against Portland, it's the same night that we are playing, the United States national team is playing here in Orlando. So for a lot of us, basically, we're gonna be catching that game on the
I'll,
way
I'll
to
I'll
the
be.
stadium.
I wanna say hello to U.S. Soccer Communications. My name is Luis Carlos Pineda. I've applied for the game against Panama, guys. Obviously, thank you to the 14 people live right now. But yeah, I would love to be there. Haven't heard back, guys. You know, but appreciate you guys. I did cover when I was in area sports, the U.S. Women's and U.S. Men's. And I think. Orlando people kind of know me. The guys in the chat, they're good pals. Everybody at home, Dave, Orlando City Communications, help me out. We'll love to cover. Definitely, we're gonna bring all the insights of that game also here to Loud and Proud Orlando, and obviously, why not, right? It's our national team, so
Absolutely.
delighted. It's an important game for them too. Very important game. Is that essentially a must win for the U.S.
Yes.
So so
And
it's going to be a good night of soccer that day, right?
no,
Orlando City
absolutely.
and the U.S.
And I'll be there with my family. The occasion does not escape us. It's super important. We're playing for our ticket to Qatar or Qatar, however you pronounce
Carter.
the name of the
Yeah, I
country.
know it's a mess for me
It's a
too.
mess. It's a mess. I would like to also touch this story over the weekend. Sasha Kleshin, who played in Orlando City, as you guys all know, he had a incredible moment on the pitch, and there it is. Basically, you guys can read, and I'll read it for the benefit of the folks that are on audio. This is a tweet from Sasha. My wife and I visited this young man back in 2010 at Children's Hospital LA. Today, I ran into his parents in our hotel lobby in Charlotte. His name is Chris Haggard, and he's a rookie midfielder for Charlotte FC. I gave him a jersey once. Hopefully, he will give me his tomorrow. And I think this is a fantastic story of how our football here in the United States is growing. Sasha elaborated later on saying that he met this little kid that had a liver transplant, 8 years old. I can't imagine as a parent, my child at 8 years old having a situation like that. By the way, the liver is one of those organs that you can cut and it will regrow. So if you are to have a situation, best cases is a liver because you don't need the whole thing. You just need a piece of somebody's liver, and then it will grow and all that good stuff. But the fact of the matter is their parents went through years of misery with Chris, and for him to have been able to overcome that and becoming a professional football player to me is incredible. And the power. This is why when I see our Orlando City and Orlando Pride players go to Arnold Palmer and to Winnie to visit kids. This, my friends, it's the power of football. Chris actually said that that visit impacted him and pushed him forward to overcome this unfortunate situation in his life, and they were able to not only play against each other, but swap jerseys. And I know the Sasha being the say what you will about Sasha as a player here in Orlando, which in my opinion he came in at the end of his career. Off the pitch, he's a fantastic individual, a family man, and his work with the Orlando City uh, Foundation was second to none. So kudos to Sasha and to this young man. And of course, we cannot forget that this past weekend, the attendance record for a single regular season game for MLS was broken by Charlotte FC with 74,479 uh, fans in attendance. And I will take my banter hat off for a second, and I will say that if you would have told me this in 1996 when MLS started, I would have called you a liar. I would have called it impossible. The fact that almost 75,000 people in the Carolinas decided to go watch a regular season game for MLS is fantastic in our country. We need to grow our sport. I wish them the best. Obviously, there will be our rivals coming up soon. We want to take the 3 points away from them. We want to beat them and all that good stuff. But if it's baby steps in the South to create this network of teams that can, in one of the fastest growing areas in our country, now has
Well,
several teams. So it's important and something to be celebrated.
and I want to tell some Charlotte fans something too. Um, be patient. You have one of the best coaches in South America. He won Copa Libertadores. He's won a lot of trophies. He's a very good coach. He's coming to a different league. He's coming. English is not his first language, but he's a mastermind. You have a team that has some important players also. Titi Ortiz, he's very underrated, but he was a champion everywhere he's been. You know, you have Jordi Reina as well. He played in Germany, Austria. He played with Sadio Mane. He's in the Peruvian national team. So you guys have quite a team. Alan Franco, he left Brasileirao, you know, discarding many offers from different teams over there, playing some of the biggest clubs there. He's playing in Charlotte. Charlotte fans, I understand how it feels. I was there when Orlando City became an MLS team, and I understand how it happened. And here's the yeah, I don't know, you cannot see it but here's the soil of Exploria right here, right? This is, I think, proof that I was there. And just be patient. Keep filling up the stadium. Keep supporting. That's the best way. It's gonna happen. You guys just need a killer number 9. I'm sure you guys will get it either when the window opens or whenever, and you guys are probably going to get a good one too, because your coach, in my opinion, he's a very good coach. I've seen him coach in different leagues, and he's been nothing but good and won championship. So this is the way the MLS is growing. This is great, man. I mean, this is great. I think the whole system of expansion teams has worked successfully. This is kudos to the league. Kudos to every single owner of every single team for betting on soccer in this country, right? And I think
Mhm.
that's why I'm saying it's so important that 2026 is on its way. It's on its way. We're going to be hosting the World Cup, right? We're going to be hosting the World Cup, and this is going to be a game changer for the United States. So I want to thank Orlando City Communications. We do have a couple of videos. I'm not going to play them because we're about to close the show. But essentially, I'm gonna show them to you.
Editor X presents.
This is Oscar Pareja Jr. Urso post game conference. If you have not seen it yet, go see it. It's on our YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody. We're almost at 320 subs. Help us get to 500. We're halfway. Oh, we're right there. We're right there. Let's get to 500, and then obviously 1K is the goal of the year. As you can see, we're live. We also have, if you missed some of the games, we have more footage from, thank you, that provides, Orlando City Communications provides for us, which we kindly appreciate. And subscribe to our channel and all social media outlets. Anything else you want to say, Dave, before we close
No,
the show?
just that. Well, again, thank you for everybody that is live with us for the last hour and a half. And this Saturday, let's go to the game, guys. Let's go to the game.
Right. I'll
Let's
be there.
invite a friend that has never seen Orlando City. Let's try to spread the joy of the beautiful game and of Orlando City, and let's remain positive, supporting our club, and just like uh, our manager said, we just gotta be patient. We gotta allow these players to find their footing, and I'm willing to do that. The future is bright, and I'm super excited about what's gonna happen this Saturday.
Yeah, super excited as well. I'll be there also. I want to thank again Orlando City Communications for all the footage shown in the pictures. Also, Mark Thor, 118 Creative, also with a wonderful background here behind us of the people from the wall. So thank you so much. Um, and before I go, again, I want to say you can join us a lot of Pride Orlando. I know that I've been slacking when it comes to sending a tweet. I will be sending a tweet and making a flyer. We're looking for new members, right? That want to join our team. If you want to get to cover also Orlando City like me, OCB, Orlando Pride, we're going to need some writers, journalists, or even if you're a fan, you just want to be able to experience the team differently and be able to be a positive influence in this beautiful community called Orlando City, Orlando Pride, and OCB, send us a DM. We're definitely looking for you, especially if you're a local, if you're an Orlando person. You know Orlando from the back of your head. You know exactly what it means to live in this city. So send us a DM. I'm definitely interested in having you over. And also, you can join us here live on a couple of shows, bringing information also for Orlando Pride. The season's about to start as well, OCB as well. So we're going to need all hands on. So if you're interested, send us a DM. My Twitter is at Pineda_ORL, also available on Instagram at Pineda_ORL. And then obviously Dave is at Florida_man76. Anything else before we go, Dave, before we close shop?
Nothing. Just remain purple, remain faithful, my friends.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all your comments, for all your input. We'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're on YouTube as Loud and Proud Orlando. Click on the notification bell for all notifications. We're live on Facebook as well. We also have a group called the Orlando City Informed Discussion Group. And we're also on 3 other Facebook groups too that we keep posting. We're very consistent with the postings. I know a lot of people probably don't like it, but we're very consistent. We just like to spread the word out because our goal is to obviously provide the best content possible for the City Beautiful. So if that's a crime, then hold me accountable, right? And next week I'll be wearing my Omar Bamba shirt. Watch out, guys! My Omar Bamba shirt, specifically for the Facebook groups. We're live on Facebook now, also on Twitter as LPO Podcast. And again, thank you to Orlando City Communications for all the footage. We'll see you guys next week.
Vamos,
Vamos Orlando.
Orlando.
Vamos Orlando.